Welcome back to the 2 Minute Warning, episode 353. Today we're going to be talking about baseball. Breaking news in the MLB, Trevor Bauer going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Basically, unless you're a Dodgers fan, this was the worst possible landing spot for Trevor Bauer. Up until about 10 minutes ago, it was the Mets, is what everyone thought he was going to. He signed with LA, $102 million deal over 3 years, and honestly, this is kind of nothing short of insane. The Dodgers are already good enough to win the World Series over the next 5 seasons, and this obviously makes that very much more realistic. But before we get into the video, question of the day: how many Cy Youngs does Clayton Kershaw, now Trevor Bauer's teammate, how many Cy Youngs does Kershaw have? Again, if you know the answer, comment below. And if you don't, stick around to the end of the video. The answer will be revealed. But again, Trevor Bauer going to LA, joining a lineup that is the best in baseball, joining a team, of course, with the lineup that's best in baseball, joining a pitching staff that is very, very high caliber. In all honesty, this is a team that we're likely going to see win 4 out of the 5, or 4 out of the next 4 out of the next 5 World Series. They're really going to be the favorite until who knows when. Honestly, Jay, what do you think this means?
Yeah, I mean, heading into this season, we saw the Dodgers lose a couple of role players in Kike Hernandez and Jock Peterson. Really wasn't going to affect their World Series bound possibilities, but they were big players in the postseason. And then we saw around the NL people in their division, as well as the Padres, get Blake Snell, and then you see the Cardinals add Nolan Arenado. You see the Mets add Frisco Lindor. You see other teams get better, and the Dodgers not getting worse, but definitely losing just a couple pieces while their competition is getting a little bit better. You finally think the NL is going to be competitive. Dodgers are still the best, but it's definitely going to be a fight this time, and I don't think it'll be as dominant as usual. Then they go out and sign their own big guy, just like all those other teams, and now it's just not even fair. I feel like this is, in the NBA, the Golden State Warriors signing Kevin Durant. This is a Kansas City Chiefs in football. Just this team is much better than everyone in their sport. I'm not going to say it's not fun by any means, but we saw the Dodgers beat the second best team in baseball last year. Obviously, the Rays, that's who they met in the World Series in just 6 games, I believe. Those 6 games, and now they're just even better. And it's just, I don't want to say it'll get ugly. It's cool to see happen around the league, any blockbuster signing or trade or just any blockbuster deal in the MLB or any sport in general, but it's getting a little out of hand. It'll be cool to see, but the Dodgers, I definitely think, even with all those other teams signing their big players, such as, like I said, Snell and Lindor, everyone's been making memes and jokes saying, oh, that's cool, but Dodgers in 4, and now it's not even a joke. It's for real facts. Now. And it's going to be cool to see. I'm just hoping someone stands a chance in the AL, because in the NL, I feel like there's no one's really. It's just going to be some warm-ups throughout the playoffs for when they get to the World Series.
Yeah, I think the Mets really screwed this up. They, as of literally per yesterday, there were tweets that the Mets and Bauer had reached a deal. Then, of course, that was retracted, saying nothing was official, and now this comes out. You look at Bauer, of course, your Cy Young last year, coming off a year where he had a 1.7 ERA. He's at the top of his game. He was obviously good with the Indians, but he's only gotten better since then. So really, you're looking at the moment. Of course, you have your DeGrom, you have your Blake Snell, but at the moment, this is the best pitcher in the league, and he's going to be joining. He's not going to be joining a sorry pitching staff. He's got Kershaw. He's going to be joining forces with. He's going to be joining forces with Walker Buehler, Dustin May, and then in the bullpen, guys like Kenley Jansen, Joe Kelly. This Dodgers team now really has no weakness. They were missing a key starter. Definitely not missing a key starter, but they could have used another starter. Last playoffs, they had to use Gonsolin, which got hit pretty well. They had to use other guys that weren't ideal, and now they have Bauer to fill that spot. And then, of course, like I said, between Kershaw, theoretically, they go to next World Series. Your 3-game rotation, you got Bauer, Buehler, Kershaw, and each of those guys are gonna probably have sub-2 ERAs or in that ballpark over the next regular season. So that's gonna be lights out. And then, like I said, their lineup is. There's not much to say about a lineup with Betts and Bellinger and Justin Turner and pending them. They haven't actually re-signed him yet. He's a free agent. But
this might be a good pivot point for him to come back.
Yeah, I'm sure. And there's not much of a conversation. Like Jay said, Jay made a good point. The Padres signed Yu Darvish. They signed Blake Snell, of course. I can't think of the guy's name, from Pittsburgh. They signed several starting pitchers this offseason, and the Padres, of course, looking to re-sign Tatis for 10 years, whatever they're doing. The Padres were really looking like they were in the mix, and now are they? I don't know. They're going to be a good team, but the Dodgers can take that division and eventually take the National League. The Braves, the other team that I gave a good shot at beating the Dodgers, because I think they could have last year. You can't compete with this team in LA already add a guy like Trevor Bauer to the roster. His personality fits LA. He's very cocky, but he backs it up. I mean, I think everything about it makes sense. It makes sense that he's going there. I'm not going to say he doesn't belong there. I do think he does belong there, and I think he's going to make this team so much better. And of course, in his contract, like I said, $102 million over the next 3 years. He's got a year 1 and 2 opt out. I highly doubt he's going to take that. I don't know why he would. I mean, you look at that 3-year contract right there. Right now, I would say he's going to get 3 rings out of it. I just don't see how it goes any other way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that he's 100% spot on. I do think Bauer's obsessed with stardom, and he's definitely going to get that in LA for sure. But a cool thing, outside of even this Bauer thing, I feel like Clayton Kershaw has been one of the most respected pitchers in the league for a while now.
And he's been working so hard for rings. Finally got his first, and now he's going to get
finally got over the hump, got through the breakthrough, and now I think he's going to be the best he's ever been just because I feel like that's been a huge mental block for him throughout the playoffs, throughout the World Series, and now he's going to have the mental block gone. He's going to be ready to pitch any time of the season. Doesn't matter how big the game is, and even if he can't, he's got Bauer the very next game or the game before him. This might be the first time Clayton Kershaw is not the ace for the Dodgers, to be honest, but he's still probably going to be it for now. I just really don't know who's going to compete with him. Obviously, there's going to be competition. It's baseball. Sometimes it's not a matter of how much talent you had. It's just who has a better day, who has a better game.
But there becomes a point where you have so much talent on one roster. Like that was the thing that I gave the Rays credit for last postseason was I did believe that they were playing better baseball despite the fact that their roster was completely outmatched with talent. But there becomes a point where the talent on the Dodgers is just going to be able to beat anybody. And you make a good point. Kershaw has always been the ace of the Dodgers. And I do believe that having another guy like this, of course, when Walker Buehler came into the league, it took a little bit of pressure off Kershaw. And now with Bauer joining that team, he's going to be, I don't even know if you're going to say he's still not going to be the ace. He definitely is the Dodger veteran. I would still say he'd be the number 1. But Bauer is certainly just as effective at this moment. And Kershaw being 32, he can easily play for the next 3-4 seasons and probably get 3 at least rings out of that, which is good for him.
Would you agree the NL has more powerhouse teams than the AL?
Yes, the AL. We just saw last year the Rays were by no means a powerhouse. They won the AL. The Astros are falling apart. Springer's gone. The Yankees
are the biggest threat.
The Yankees on paper are a dynasty per se, but they haven't really showed it. They need some more pitching. Maybe the Blue Jays could turn out to be something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm basically thinking who's going to be playing the Dodgers in the World Series this coming season and who can take them down because in the NL there's really no question.
Yeah, you can look at it one of two ways. You're glad they're in the NL, so it's not just a cakewalk to the World Series, but you think about it, once they get to the World Series, it might be a cakewalk of a win just because the AL, we believe, is weaker through the NL. So it will be cool to see them go through a bunch of hard-fought teams through the NL, but once they get to the AL, I don't want to see another Rays team where they got there, but we know who's a much better team, and now it's not even close in my opinion. Kershaw, Bauer, Joe Kelly, the best pitcher in the bullpen, 100%, no doubt. I don't know who's really going to compete with them. I'd love to see the Yankees pulled off. Not a Yankees fan, not a Dodgers fan, but I do think this would be.
I'd take Yankees over Dodgers. And we have seen before in playoffs, before Yankees playing the Indians, they've hit Bauer before, but that was 3 years ago, Bauer. So he's obviously on a very steep incline with his game. So bottom line is the dynasty of Major League Baseball and the Dodgers have just gained Trevor Bauer. Kind of crazy. But comment below what you think this means, because in my opinion, there's no doubt that this means Dodgers are going to be winning the next couple World Series for sure. That's all for the video, guys. Question today: Clayton Kershaw has won 4 Cy Youngs: 2011, 2013, 2014, and 2017. Thanks for watching, guys.